Morning, everyone. We are up to Perek Daled, Mishna Daled. Until now, we've been discussing how if, let's say, their produce has not been completely processed, you'd be able to, and it hasn't been taken into a place or a situation that's Kaveh Lamaisa that sets the produce of the obligation of Truman Mice to the point you can't snack, that you may snack. But that's the only thing you may do. You may do what's called snacking. A regular formal eating, like a meal or something considered more formal than a snack, you can't do. You can't do that, even though it hasn't been processed yet. We did a while ago have a Mishna that spoke about when that even starts. But the point is that we come to a point where you've got this produce and it hasn't been completely processed. And we say, okay, you can snack from it, but you can't eat formally from it. So now the Mishna is going to discuss that specific idea, what's called the snack and what's called formal, when you're talking about wine from a wine press. Now, we previously learned when it came to completing the process to say that you can't snack from the wine was that the wine in the wine press had to go into the cistern and you had to skim it from the seeds and from the skins. That's not what's happening here. You're actually going into the wine press, and you're drinking from it. It hasn't been completed yet, but you're drinking anyway from it. So now, the Mishnah reads, Shoisim alagas, a person can drink over the wine press. That means he could basically lean over into the wine press and drink. It doesn't mean he's drinking with his mouth. He has a cup. He has utensils. But the point is he's leaning over the wine press when he's doing it. Whether you are using hot water or cold water. The wine was in the times of Mishnah, we find this all the time by wine. The wine was very strong. It had to be diluted. So it seems that sometimes they used hot water, some used cold water. So the Tanna Kamma says, whatever kind of water you use, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, at the end of the day, to dilute it, at the end of the day, if you are drinking over the wine press, you're exempt. These are the words of Rebbe Meir. This implies that if you're not drinking it over the wine press, you're basically taking it from the wine press and you're drinking it outside of the wine press, that you can't do that. That, according to Rebbe Meir, is very called formal eating. Even if this wine is still in the wine press and you're taking it out of the wine press, if you're drinking it out of the wine press, that's formal. And you're not going to be able to drink until you separate shumas and maasros from it. Another condition that the Bartanura speaks out, unique according to Rebbe Meir, is not only are you leaning over it, meaning that's your head is leaning over the wine press, the majority of your body plus your head have to be leaning over the wine press. And the reason for that is because of the next opinion. Let's read the next opinion. Belezer Rebbe Tzadok Machayev. Belezer Rebbe Tzadok says that no matter what, you have to separate shumas and maasros before you drink. No matter what. You could have your majority of your body is leaning over the wine press. Doesn't make a difference. You cannot drink until you separate shumas and maasros. The reason for Rebbe Tzadok is because he was concerned that if we allow you to drink it leaning over into the wine press, that you may forget and take it out of the wine press and drink, which you can't do that. Out of the wine press, Rebbe Tzadok agrees to Rebbe Meir that is going to be a formal form of drinking. The thing is, Rebbe Meir says, if the majority of my body is in the wine press, I don't have to be concerned that I'm going to forget and take myself out and drink outside of the wine press. If it's only my head inside, according to Rebbe Meir, I have to be concerned that I may come to do that. But if the majority of my head and the majority of my body is in the wine press, is leaning over the wine press, and I'm drinking that way, then I don't have to be concerned after I'm so much into the wine press that maybe I'll pull myself back and drink. Because Rebbe Tzadok was concerned for that. And therefore he said, no matter what, even if you're leaning over the wine press, that's not enough of us not be concerned that you're going to pull yourself out of the wine press and drink while you're out of the wine press. So those are the first two opinions. So according to the first two opinions, drinking it, the fact that you're diluting it with water makes no difference, hot or cold. Why it's even mentioned, we'll see soon. And the main concern is that if this wine is drunk out of the wine press, that's called a formal form of drinking, and you're not going to be able to drink unless you separate Shumas and Maasros. According to Reb Meir, if your head and the majority of your body is leaning over the wine press, then you could snack without separating Shumas and Maasros, because that's called snacking. Maybe I I should have stressed that. According to Reb Meir, if you're drinking over the wine press, you're leaning to the wine press and drinking, that's snacking. That's not a formal way of drinking. It's only when you take it out of the wine press and drink, that's a formal way of drinking. The concern that maybe while you're going to start inside leaning and then continue drinking out, that Reb Meir said, if the majority of my body and my head is leaning over, I don't have to be concerned about that. But the next opinion said, no, I always have to be concerned that you're going to pull out and drink outside of the wine press, which would be formal, and therefore, even though inside should be considered a snack, because of this concern that you're going to take it out, they said even inside you can't drink without separating Shumas and Maasros. That's Reb Tzadok's opinion. Now we have the third opinion. The Chachamim say, Alacha min chayav, v'latzayin pater. If you are adding hot water, then even though you're in the wine press, you will have to separate Shumas and Maasros. And the truth is that when the water is hot, even if you're outside of the wine press, it won't make a difference. You will still be able to drink it as a snack. But if we're talking about cold, when you add cold water to the wine, then we say you're exempt from separating Shumas and Maasros to drink from it because you're snacking. So according to the Chachamim, the point is like this. According to the Chachamim, it's the fact that you have added water to this wine is what makes it a formal drinking. If you would drink it without adding water, that's snacking. And I don't care if you drink it over the wine press, out of the wine press, out of the Chachamim, that makes no difference. Where makes the difference according to the Chachamim? It's what? It's did you use the hot water, use the cold water? You have to explain the difference. But it's the adding of the water is that potentially says that that creates the potential to be considered a formal drink. What's the difference if it's hot water or cold water? The answer is that if it's cold water, then what's ever left over, you'll pour back. And it won't affect the wine in the wine press. And anytime you're drinking it close enough to the wine press that the leftover stuff, that what's left over, you don't drink anymore, you put back, that's not a formal drinking, that's snacking. But if you put back the diluted wine with hot water into the wine press, the hot water can ruin the wine in the wine press. So you're not going to put it back. And therefore, I added water. It's a formal drink. I'm not going to put it back. I can't snack from it until it's separate Shumas and Maasros. That's only if it's hot. But if it's cold, so then I would put the extra back. And therefore, although I did add water to it, but since I would put it back, the extra I put back, so then that's not formal drinking, that's snacking. And it doesn't make a difference according to the Chachamim, am I leaning over the wine press? Am I not leaning over the wine press? It has to be that at least I'm close enough to the wine press that we would say, like I'm next to the wine press, and we would say, what's left over, I'll pour back in. That's the Chachamim's opinion about this, what's considered formal or snacking by drinking wine, and the halacha is like the Chachamim. Okay, the Chavetz Chaim continues now with the potential positive commandments one can transgress when speaking Lashon Harah, and that is the Mishna Mesaper Hu Kohen. Let's say the Lashon Harah is being spoken about a Kohen. The Ginoba is Evafanav, and you said the Lashon Harah in front of him, which means you disrespected him to his face. That person now has transgressed the positive commandment of, and you shall sanctify him. That's what's said about the Kohen. You shall sanctify him. Which means that when we interact with the Kohen, we should do that with great honor. Once he speaks Lashon Hara Rechilas and he puts him down, meaning in front of him, He's certainly not honoring, and therefore he transgresses prohibition. The next one is a similar prohibition, a similar transgression rather. Let's say it's his oldest brother, or his mother's husband, or his father's wife. Okay, so either you're the oldest brother, your stepfather or stepmother. If you speak Lashon Hara in front of them and put them down like that, you also have now transgressed the commandment of honoring. The obligation to honor one father and mother is from the Ten Commandments, and it says, Kabed es avicha ve'es imecha. Those words ve'es are actually they include more than just what explicitly is said in the verse of father and mother. One includes the oldest brother, and the other one includes a step-parent. That they also, the Torah says, you have to honor them. And therefore, if you speak Lashon Hara in front of them and you put them down, you're clearly disrespecting them. And all the more so, if let's say he does this to his actual parents, that's for sure a transgression. That's an explicit transgression of not honoring a father and mother, to speak Lashon Hara about them in front of their faces. Besides that, when we're talking about a father and a mother, a person who puts them down and makes light of them is included in what's called the curse of Orah Maklav V'imai. Curse to be the person who makes light, denigrates his father and mother. Hashem Mishmerenu, God should guard us from these things. Have a wonderful day. Shua Tov.